Hey guys, it's Josh here. Today we're going to show you how to diagnose a no spark on these Mercury 4 cylinders with switch box ignition and the 4 ignition coils. So first, what you're going to need to do is pull off all your spark plug wires, and then you're going to have something to ground them with. So here we have a spark tester here, and ground it. Somebody had the bottom bolt stripped on this motor. That's why this cover is put off to the side, so take that off, and it'll give you some more space if you open up the top here by taking off the 4 wing nuts and taking off your cover up here. So then yeah, we'll go on to the first things to try if you have no spark on any cylinders on these switch box ignitions. So what you're going to want to do is go to your black with a yellow tracer, and that's your kill switch circuit, your cutout switch circuit. You want to eliminate that first. So what you're going to do is go to the switch box and take that off, so then you know that it's eliminated from the system and it's going to spark if your kill switch or any of that stuff up in there is your issue. So you come into here, you find that your black with a yellow tracer, there's 2 of them going onto it. You'll see the post, it'll say black and yellow right here. Take that off. Once you have that off, turn over the motor and watch from the front if you're by yourself and see if you have spark. Just watch, and here you should have a nice blue spark. If that doesn't work, you know you're all good up there. So reattach that to your switch box, and then we're going to get on to our next test here, which is testing your rectifier. Locate your rectifier, which is right here. You have to take off your 2 yellows coming from the stator. So you take off your 2 yellows right here that they run down from your stator up here, go down through here. So you want to take off this one here and the one right here. Pull those off, put the bolts back on, leave these 2 yellows coming out the bottom on, turn it over, and again look right here, see if there's any spark. If there's no spark, you know it's not your rectifier regulator, so reattach those wires. Alright, so our next test is to check to see, there's 2 choices for flywheels, and that's why I had you pull off the top right away, the top cover. You got to see if you have the black stator, or there's a red stator kit that has been installed on these apparently. We obviously have black right here. You have to see if they have bolted in magnets or glued in magnets. So you look on here, there's no bolts on it. I have, you're looking behind, the magnets they're glued in there. So we know that we have to use the chart for the glued in magnets. So here we go. Here's your readings. So we'll start out with our resistance reading. I'm obviously using this bottom one here because I have the glued in magnets. So we're going to go with resistance. CDI resistance is if you've had it replaced by CDI stator before, and this is OEM. You can tell because the CDI will say CDI on the harness and the OEM will just be a Mercury number on it, 35 dash or so. So we're going to go to our switch box and go our blue to blue and white, and we should be between 3250 and 3650, and our red to red and white 75 to 90. So we'll take our meter now, switch it to ohms, and we'll check our resistance. So this handy meter, you can set it like this, and now we'll take our leads here and we'll go from our red here to our red and white. Okay, we're on them. So there we go, we got 97.5 ohms, and that should be, by looking at it, it says that we should have 32 to 50 or 75 to 90, and we're at 98, so we're a little high. Alright, now we go from our blue to our blue and white, so we'll test that right now. Alright, this is our test for our blue to blue and white, 0.847. Alright, so these are going to be our final tests before
we determine if it's the switch box itself or the stator, or it'll be the wiring for the stator is a common thing. So what you're gonna need is a DVA adapter. I got this from Snap-on, about 40 bucks. So plug that into your meter and set your meter to DC volts. If it's an auto reader like mine, you put it there and it selects a voltage, but if you have one of the old school ones, select like 600 volts or something, because it's supposed to be up to I think 180 volts. So anyways, we'll test now. So what you do is you got to take your leads, and we're going to start off with our blue to blue and white again, and we got to go. It's supposed to read 180 to 400 volts. All right, we're touching on both those now. So now what we're going to do is turn over the motor and see what we have. We should be between 180 and 400 volts. So our reading was 25.6 volts, which is way too low. So now we go on to our red and white. Now we'll turn over again. We want in between 25 and 100 volts for this one. All right, so that was only 28 volts. So that's not a good reading yet. So we're determined that the stator or the switch box is done. So now what we're gonna do is take our red and white off, and this determines if it's your stator or your switch box causing the low voltage. Now with your two leads, go onto your red and white and turn it over and see what you have. This is gonna determine if you have a stator issue or a switch box issue. All right, so we're connected here. This is how to do it when you're doing it by yourself again. I just shove them in there and use the rubber to kind of pinch it on there. Now turn it over. If your voltage reading comes up, you know that the stator is good and the switch box is bad. Replace the switch box. So we'll turn over the motor now and see what our reading is. All right, with that turned over, all we're reading is 30 volts. So our voltage shouldn't come up. Sorry, so we tested 28 volts for that. Your reading's supposed to be between 25 and 100, so that one's good. So next we're gonna go on to our blue and white. All right, so same thing. Now we're gonna do it with our blue and white. Your reading should be between 100 and 180 and 400 volts. So here we go. We'll turn it over now. All right, so our reading has went up on the blue and white to 50 volts, but we're supposed to be between 180 and 400. So that leads me to determine that the stator is bad or the wiring between it is bad. So now we'll take off the flywheel so we can get to our stator. You're going to need a puller for that, and it'll pull that flywheel off. Alright guys, so just a quick overview if you guys were having trouble understanding that. So when we started off with the black with the yellow tracer, removing that, and all of a sudden you got spark, you know that it's your kill switch most likely. You can disconnect that from the front to try and figure that out. Or if you have a tether, it'll be going through there too. Check those. If it's not that, you weren't that lucky, go on to your next step of the rectifier test. So when you're testing the rectifier there, if your voltage would have came up there and read correctly, that means replace that regulator rectifier and you should be good to go. After that, when we start testing resistance, you can do that, or you can just go to DVA. When we start testing the DVA, that we take the blue to the blue and white tracer. Say we have the voltage is good on one of them, you go to the next one and it's bad, right? So you pull off those wires then, and you try it just like we did. You try it, and say your voltage comes up then, and it's reading between your 25 to 180 on the other one, and your 180 to 400 on your blue and white. I think that's what it was. Anyways, you can go back to the video if that's not right. But if your voltage comes up there, that means that your stator is doing the correct thing, but it's just not going through your switch box. Your switch box is bringing that voltage down. So if you pull it off, your voltage is good, your stator is good, replace that switch box and you'll be up and running, good to go. And in my case like this, your stator is reading bad. A lot of times there's wires in there that I've seen that they get like really corroded and they just fall apart in there. You pull off the wire loom and it just falls apart. So anyways, try that. I hope it helps. And if you like the video and you think I should make some more marine videos, I will do that. I'm just here on my lunch at work. Had a quick bite to eat, and then I was just filming that as I already diagnosed it. I just wanted to film it and get some content to you guys to help you guys out that are do-it-yourselfers and would like to fix your own stuff. All you need is that DVA meter or adapter, the meter, and if it comes down to the stator, you're going to need this flywheel puller. But yeah, that's everything for now, and hopefully this video helped you. If it did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.